Okay, so picture this. What if a publicly traded company decided to bet its entire future on Bitcoin? I'm not talking about just buying a little bit on the side. I mean making it the absolute foundation of their whole corporate strategy. Well, there's a company doing exactly that, and its story is just this wild case study in risk, reward, and maybe even the future of how companies handle their money.
Let's just start with this number, $162. At one point, this was the stock price for a software company called MicroStrategy. But honestly, that price is just a single frame in a much crazier movie. What really makes this company so fascinating is the unbelievable volatility behind a number like that, and the very, very unconventional reason for it.
So what is the engine driving this stock's performance? You'd probably think it's some groundbreaking new piece of software, right? Well, nope. The main reason for its wild swings is the company's incredibly aggressive and very public strategy of buying Bitcoin, and we're talking about a lot of it.
And when I say aggressive, I mean like relentless. This isn't a one-and-done kind of deal. Just in the last year alone, the company announced they'd bought Bitcoin on more than 20 different occasions. So they're not trying to time the market here. This is a constant, deliberate strategy of just accumulating more. And this isn't some new, frantic idea they just came up with, not at all. It's actually the result of a very deliberate plan that they put into motion years ago.
This timeline really puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? You can see the whole strategy officially kicked off way back in 2020. And now, you look at today, and the pace has only gotten faster. This tells you it's not a short-term trade. This is a huge, long-term, high-conviction bet on where they think this asset is going.
So what do you think happens when you basically tie your company's entire fate to one of the most volatile assets on Earth? Well, you get a roller coaster. For shareholders, this means the stock's performance isn't just a ride. It's a full-blown thrill ride with these incredible highs and, yes, some pretty terrifying lows. And this isn't just a casual observation. It's become a core feature of this stock. The source material points out that MicroStrategy stock doesn't just follow what Bitcoin does, it often magnifies those moves. So, what does that actually mean?
It's pretty simple, actually. When Bitcoin goes up, MicroStrategy stock tends to go up even more. You could think of it as a supercharged version of Bitcoin's performance. But, and this is the part you really have to pay attention to, the exact same thing is true on the way down. A small dip for Bitcoin can turn into a really steep drop for the stock.
So that brings us to the big question. Why does this happen? What's the financial mechanic going on behind the scenes that creates all this extra volatility? The answer really comes down to one powerful concept: leverage. The secret is that they're in a leveraged position. All that means is that they're using borrowed money, debt, to buy even more Bitcoin. Let me give you an example. Say you use $10 of your own money to buy an asset, and it doubles in value. Great, you made $10. But what if you took your $10, borrowed another $90, and bought $100 worth of that same asset? If it doubles, you've made $100 after you pay back the loan. Your gains are magnified. But if that asset's value drops, you still owe that $90, which means your losses get magnified in a really dangerous way.
All right, so we've talked about the strategy, the crazy volatility, and the why behind it all. So let's just boil this down to the most important things you need to remember.
So here's the bottom line. First, MicroStrategy isn't just messing around. They have a dedicated multi-year plan to keep stacking up Bitcoin. Second, because of that, their stock has essentially turned into a high-risk, high-reward way to bet on Bitcoin itself. And third, that secret sauce behind the wild price swings is financial leverage, which just makes everything bigger, both the good and the bad.
And all of this leaves us with this central question of this whole story. Is MicroStrategy pioneering a brilliant new way for companies to do business, proving that a digital asset can be a company's main reserve? Or is this just a massive, historic gamble with their shareholders' money? For now, the answer to that really depends entirely on the future of Bitcoin.